Hello, Internet. It's the news again with Hajira Asif Khan, a show where the news is always terrible. King Charles is on track to receive the world record for approving some of the most absurd and awkward portraits of himself after his coronation. First, it was his official photograph to be used in public offices, which looks like the man is still unsure if he has in fact ascended to the throne within his lifetime, or if he should call for his personal pincher to ensure he's not in a waking dream. And now, this. Other than being the official portrait of the British monarch, the image can also qualify as a Rorschach test, where everyone who looks at it observes the monarchy being drenched in the blood of their former colonial subjects. It's either that, or some spray paint happy activists got to the portrait before His Royal Highness could unveil it. The man is literally startled by his own image. And in a manner that is characteristically tone-deaf of the royal family, Queen Camilla has just pledged that she will no longer purchase fur. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but that pledge was due like a decade ago. Speaking of the absurd behavior of the rich and powerful, Pakistan's poverty happens to be manufactured by its very own caretakers. But in their defense, they are caretakers and not take-carers. So instead of taking care of the country's assets, they took the care out of every decision they made for it. But let's not focus only on the wildly unaccountable decisions of the caretaker government, and turn our focus to those bank accounts and empires that have benefited from Pakistan, but their assets continue to be found in tax havens around the world. Meanwhile, bijli, pani, fuel, everything is costing more by the minute to accommodate the mounting taxes that you and I have to pay, because when it comes to the country, our leadership is happy to borrow more and more money from the IMF, while none of the money-making abilities are being put in revenue generation for the benefit of the people of Pakistan. It's not the fact that the cumulative real estate owned by Pakistanis in Dubai is far greater than the money we owe to the IMF. It's that these folks know how to make all this absurd amount of money. But somehow it all fades away as soon as they enter public service. And continuing our trip through political absurdity, the US administration is losing the plot faster than Joe Biden is losing his memory. Internal dissent seems to be slipping through the cracks as senior officials in the White House and the State Department seem to be reading from wildly divergent scripts. So here's the gist of it. Joe Biden said recently that on account of the mounting violations, the US may withhold arms sales to Israel. Seems like a positive step, right? Even if it does qualify all the indicators of too little too late. But then the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, was questioned about this statement in Tel Aviv, and he said, "We don't talk about red lines when it comes to Israel."
Solution kya hai?
And to further reinforce this point, high officials in the Pentagon and White House remain adamant that there is no proof of Israel committing genocide. But in the same week, the US is banning cotton imports from China owing to allegations of genocide against the Uyghur community. They're even branding it as genocide cotton. Genocide cotton? Really? Do any of the US officials read their own history, I wonder? And after the wildly successful manufacturing of the good Taliban, bad Taliban narrative, the country has now moved on to the task of normalizing the narrative of good genocide and bad genocide. Meanwhile, paperwork is in for further arms sales to the maniacal apartheid entity to continue its not genocide in the Gaza Strip. That's it for now. Tune in next week to see what's making the news again.